What if I told you that you could lose belly fat and hip fat without ever leaving your chair? No gym membership, no expensive equipment, no getting down on the floor and struggling to get back up. For millions of people over 50, 60, and beyond, the idea of traditional exercise feels out of reach. Maybe your knees hurt. Maybe your back bothers you. Maybe you've had falls in the past and you're afraid of losing your balance. Maybe you simply don't have the energy you once had. And here's what nobody tells you. You don't need to run marathons. You don't need to lift heavy weights. You don't need to do burpees or jumping jacks. The fat that accumulates around your belly and hips responds to one specific type of movement, and that movement can be done sitting down. Today, I'm going to show you a 5-minute seated workout that targets exactly the areas where fat tends to accumulate after 50. And I'm going to explain the biology behind why this works. But before we start, I want to ask you something. Leave a comment below and tell me, what's the biggest challenge you face when it comes to exercise? Is it joint pain, lack of time, low energy, fear of injury? I read every comment, and your answer helps me create content that actually helps you. Now, let's talk about what's happening inside your body. When you reach your 50s and 60s, your body undergoes significant hormonal changes. For women, menopause leads to a dramatic drop in estrogen. For men, testosterone levels gradually decline, and these hormonal shifts change where your body stores fat. In your younger years, fat tended to accumulate in your hips, thighs, and buttocks. This is subcutaneous fat, fat stored just beneath the skin. It's relatively harmless. But as hormone levels change, fat storage shifts. It begins to accumulate deeper in your abdomen, around your organs. This is visceral fat, and it's biologically different from subcutaneous fat. Visceral fat is metabolically active. It releases inflammatory compounds directly into your bloodstream. It interferes with insulin sensitivity. It increases your risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. It's not just about how you look, it's about how your body functions. The good news is that visceral fat is also more responsive to exercise than subcutaneous fat. It mobilizes more readily when you create the right metabolic conditions. And one of the most effective ways to create those conditions is through consistent movement that engages your core, your hips, and your large muscle groups. But here's the challenge. Many traditional exercises that target these areas, like planks, crunches, or lunges, require you to get on the floor, put weight on your joints, or balance on one foot. If you have knee pain, back issues, or balance concerns, these exercises aren't just difficult, they're dangerous. That's where seated exercise comes in. When you're sitting in a stable chair, your joints are supported. Your balance is not an issue. You can focus entirely on engaging the muscles that need to work without worrying about falling or putting unnecessary stress on your knees and back. Let me explain what happens when you perform seated exercises that target your core and hips. Your abdominal muscles, particularly your transverse abdominis, the deepest layer of your abdominal wall, act as a natural corset. When you engage this muscle, it pulls your belly in, supports your spine, and creates internal pressure that helps stabilize your entire torso. Your hip muscles, including your glutes and hip flexors, are some of the largest muscles in your body. When they're active, they burn significant calories. They also support your pelvis and lower back, which is crucial for maintaining good posture and preventing back pain. Seated exercises that target these areas work by creating tension and release patterns that activate these muscles. You don't need to be standing to engage your core. You don't need to be on the floor to work your hips. You just need to know how to create the right movement patterns. Here's something that might surprise you. Studies have shown that isometric exercises, where you contract a muscle without moving the joint, can be just as effective for building strength and stability as dynamic exercises. In fact, for older adults, isometric exercises are often recommended because they put less stress on joints while still providing significant benefits. The seated workout I'm about to show you combines isometric holds with controlled dynamic movements. This combination creates the ideal stimulus for fat burning, muscle engagement, and metabolic activation. Before we begin, let me give you a few important guidelines. First, choose a sturdy chair with a straight back. Avoid chairs with wheels. You want stability. Your feet should be flat on the floor, knees at a 90-degree angle or slightly lower. Second, wear comfortable clothing that doesn't restrict your movement. You don't need special shoes. You don't need gym clothes. Just wear something that allows you to move freely. Third, listen to your body. If something hurts, sharp pain, not just the feeling of working a muscle, stop. Modify the movement. Go slower. Reduce the range of motion. This is about improving your health, not pushing through pain. Fourth, breathe. It sounds simple, but many people hold their breath during exercise. Breathe out during the effort phase. Breathe in during the release. This helps you maintain proper form and gets oxygen to your muscles. Fifth, aim for quality over quantity. It's better to do 5 exercises with perfect form than 15 exercises with poor form. Focus on feeling the muscles work. Slow down. This isn't a race. Now let's go through the workout. Each exercise should be performed for approximately 45 seconds, with 15 seconds of rest between exercises. The entire workout takes about 5 minutes. Exercise 1. Seated marching. Sit tall in your chair. Engage your core by pulling your belly button gently toward your spine. Lift your right knee as high as you comfortably can. Hold for a moment, then lower it back down. Alternate legs. This exercise engages your hip flexors, which are often tight from prolonged sitting. It also activates your core as you stabilize your torso with each knee raise. As you get stronger, you can lift your knees higher. You can also add a slight twist to your torso as you lift, which engages your obliques. Exercise 2. Seated Russian twists. Sit tall. Lean back slightly, keeping your spine straight. Your feet should be flat on the floor. Hold your hands together in front of you. Slowly twist your torso to the right, then to the left. Keep your hips facing forward. Only your upper body should twist. This exercise targets your obliques, the muscles on the sides of your abdomen. It also engages your deep core stabilizers. For beginners, keep the twist small. As you get more comfortable, you can increase the range of motion. Exercise 3. Seated side leans. Sit tall. Reach your right hand toward the floor along the side of your chair, leaning your upper body to the right. Feel the stretch on your left side. Return to center. Repeat on the left side. This exercise targets the muscles along the sides of your torso. It also helps improve spinal mobility. Many people hold tension in these muscles from poor posture. This movement helps release that tension while also strengthening the muscles that support your spine. Exercise 4. Seated leg extensions. Sit tall. Engage your core. Extend your right leg straight out in front of you. Hold it for a moment, then lower it back down. Alternate legs. This exercise engages your quadriceps, the large muscles on the front of your thighs. These are some of the strongest muscles in your body, and activating them helps boost your metabolism. As you get stronger, you can add ankle weights for more resistance. Exercise 5. Seated crunches. Sit tall. Place your hands on your knees or hold them out in front of you. Lean back slightly while keeping your spine straight. Then, contract your abdominal muscles and draw your chest toward your knees. Return to the starting position. This exercise directly targets your rectus abdominis, the six-pack muscle, as well as your deeper core muscles. The key is to initiate the movement from your core, not from your neck or shoulders. Keep your chin slightly lifted to avoid straining your neck. Exercise 6. Seated glute squeezes. Sit tall. Engage your core. Squeeze your glute muscles as tightly as you can. Hold for 3 seconds, then release. Repeat. This is an isometric exercise. Your glutes are your body's largest muscle group, and activating them burns significant calories. It also improves pelvic stability and supports your lower back. Many people with lower back pain have weak glutes. This exercise directly addresses that. The largest muscles in your body are also the most effective fat burners. When you engage your glutes, you're not just toning. You're telling your metabolism to work harder. Exercise 7. Seated belly pulls. Sit tall. Exhale completely, pulling your belly button in toward your spine. Hold for 3 seconds. Inhale and release. Repeat. This exercise targets your transverse abdominis, the deepest layer of your abdominal wall. This muscle is responsible for pulling your belly in and stabilizing your spine. Many people neglect this muscle, which is why their belly protrudes even when they have relatively low body fat. Exercise 8. Seated torso lifts. Sit tall. Place your hands on your thighs. Engage your core and sit up as straight as possible, lifting your chest toward the ceiling. Hold for 3 seconds. Release. This exercise improves your posture by strengthening the muscles that support your spine. It also engages your core and helps create a long, lean line from your hips to your shoulders. Exercise 9. Seated hip circles. Sit tall. Place your hands on your hips. Make small circles with your hips, first clockwise, then counterclockwise. This exercise improves hip mobility and engages your core and hip muscles through a different range of motion. It helps lubricate your hip joints and can reduce stiffness from prolonged sitting. Exercise 10. Seated full body stretch. Sit tall, reach your arms overhead, interlace your fingers, stretch as high as you can, hold for 5 seconds, release. This final exercise stretches your spine, shoulders, and ribs. It also provides a nice contrast to the contraction exercises you've been doing, allowing your muscles to release and recover. Let me walk you through a complete 5-minute routine that incorporates these exercises. Minutes 0-1. Seated marching and seated Russian twists minutes 1-2. Seated side leans and seated leg extensions minutes 2-3. Seated crunches and seated glute squeezes minutes 3-4. Seated belly pulls and seated torso lifts minutes 4-5. Seated hip circles and seated full body stretch. You can adjust the time spent on each exercise based on your fitness level. If 45 seconds feels too long, start with 30 seconds. If it feels too short, extend it to 60 seconds. The key is consistency, not intensity. Now, let me explain why this workout works for losing belly and hip fat specifically. When you engage your core and hip muscles, you're activating some of the largest muscle groups in your body. Muscle activation requires energy. That energy comes from fat stores. And because visceral fat is more responsive to exercise than subcutaneous fat, this type of movement specifically targets the fat around your organs. But there's more to it than just the calories you burn during the workout. When you activate these muscles, you create a metabolic effect that lasts for hours after you finish. This is called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. Simply put, your body continues to burn calories at an elevated rate as it recovers from the work you did. Additionally, regular core and hip activation improves your posture. When your posture improves, your core stays engaged throughout the day rather than relaxing and allowing your belly to protrude. This means you're burning more calories even when you're not exercising. One of the less commonly discussed benefits of this type of exercise is its effect on hormones. When you're sedentary, your body produces more cortisol, the stress hormone. Elevated cortisol is directly linked to increased belly fat storage. Exercise, even gentle seated exercise, helps reduce cortisol levels and improve insulin sensitivity. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that regular moderate exercise significantly reduced visceral fat in older adults. The participants didn't run marathons. They didn't lift heavy weights. They did consistent, moderate movement that engaged their core and large muscle groups. This is exactly what this seated workout provides: consistent, moderate movement that engages the right muscles in the right way. How often should you do this workout? For best results, aim for 5 to 6 days per week. It's only 5 minutes. It's low impact. It requires no equipment. There's no reason not to make it a daily habit. As you get stronger, you can increase the intensity. Lift your legs higher. Increase your range of motion. Add ankle weights. Hold the isometric exercises for longer. Perform the dynamic exercises more slowly for greater time under tension. The key is progressive overload. Your body adapts to the stimulus you give it. If you do the same thing at the same intensity every day, your body will stop changing. By gradually increasing the challenge, you continue to see results. Your body adapts to the stimulus you give it. If you do the same thing at the same intensity every day, your body will stop changing. Let me be clear about something. Exercise alone is not enough to lose belly fat. You also need to pay attention to what you're eating. Prioritize protein. Protein helps preserve muscle mass and keeps you feeling full. It also has a higher thermic effect than carbohydrates or fat, meaning your body burns more calories digesting it. Reduce refined carbohydrates. White bread, white rice, sugary cereals, and processed snacks spike your blood sugar and promote fat storage. Choose whole grains instead. Eat vegetables with every meal. Vegetables are rich in fiber, which slows digestion and promotes gut health. They also provide essential micronutrients that support overall health. Stay hydrated. Often, feelings of hunger are actually thirst. Drinking water throughout the day helps you avoid unnecessary snacking. There's something else that happens when you commit to a 5-minute daily workout. You build momentum. You prove to yourself that you can be consistent. This is not a small thing. Self-efficacy. The belief that you can achieve your goals is one of the strongest predictors of long-term success. Every time you complete this workout, you're building that belief. You're telling yourself that you're someone who takes care of their body, and that belief tends to spread. People who exercise regularly also tend to eat better, sleep better, and make better choices throughout the day. The 5-minute workout isn't just about the calories you burn. It's about the person you become when you commit to showing up for yourself. Let me address some common scenarios. If you have limited range of motion in your hips, do the seated marching with smaller knee lifts. Even lifting your foot an inch off the floor is beneficial. The movement, not the height, is what matters. If you have back pain, maintain a neutral spine and avoid leaning too far in any direction. If twisting hurts, skip the Russian twists and focus on the other exercises. If you have knee discomfort, avoid extending your legs fully during the leg extensions. Keep a slight bend in your knee. If you have balance concerns, keep both hands on the sides of your chair for support. If you have severe mobility limitations, start with just the belly pulls and glute squeezes. These can be done without any movement of your hips or legs. As you get stronger, add more exercises. The point is not to do every exercise perfectly. The point is to do something. Any movement is better than no movement, and if all you can do is one exercise, do that one exercise consistently and add more over time. I want to share some examples of people who have benefited from this type of exercise. A 67-year-old woman with severe knee arthritis told me she couldn't do any exercise without pain. She started doing 5 minutes of seated exercises every morning. Within 3 weeks, she noticed that her pants fit looser around her waist. Within 6 weeks, she had lost an inch from her belly. Within 3 months, she had more energy and less joint pain. A 72-year-old man with lower back pain from years of poor posture started doing this routine. Within a month, he noticed that his back pain had significantly reduced. He attributed it to the improved core strength and hip mobility he gained from the seated exercises. A 61-year-old woman who thought she couldn't exercise at all due to a history of falls found that this routine gave her confidence. She could do it safely without fear. She started with just 3 minutes a day and gradually worked up to 5. She told me that for the first time in years, she felt in control of her body. These are not extraordinary people. They are ordinary people who found an approach that works for them. And that approach is available to you too. Here's something I want you to think about. 5 minutes is 300 seconds. It's 0.35% of your day. It's less time than it takes to watch the news. It's less time than it takes to scroll through social media. And yet those 5 minutes, repeated daily, can transform your health. They can reduce your belly fat. They can strengthen your hips. They can improve your balance. They can reduce your risk of falls. They can give you more energy. They can boost your confidence. What else in your life gives you that much return for such a small investment? I want you to commit to trying this workout tomorrow morning. You don't need to wait until you're ready. You don't need to wait until you have time. You don't need to wait until you feel motivated. Motivation is not a prerequisite for action. Action creates motivation. The hardest part is starting. Once you start, momentum carries you forward. So tomorrow, when you wake up, sit on the edge of your bed or in a sturdy chair and do 5 minutes of these exercises. Just try it. See how you feel. Notice if anything changes. If you like it, do it again the next day, and the next, and the next. Make it a habit. Make it part of your routine. Your body will thank you. Motivation is not a prerequisite for action. Action creates motivation. I want to leave you with a broader perspective. This workout is not just about losing belly and hip fat. It's about reclaiming your body. It's about saying to yourself, I'm not done yet. I still have strength. I still have vitality. I still have life to live. So many people over 50, 60, and beyond have been told that aging means decline. They've been told that their best years are behind them. They've been told that they should accept lower energy, more pain, and less mobility as inevitable. And I'm here to tell you that this is not true. Aging does not have to mean decline. With the right movement, the right nutrition, and the right mindset, you can maintain your strength, your energy, and your vitality well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. This 5-minute seated workout is a step in that direction. It's a small step, but it's a meaningful one. And small steps taken consistently lead to big changes. I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell me you're committed to trying this workout tomorrow. If you have a specific challenge, share it. I read every comment, and I want to support you on this journey. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. It helps others discover this information too. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to Winds of Thought for more science-backed, practical health advice that's designed for your life. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.